Lately, we have seen something weird going on between NIO and Wall Street. Despite NIO stock being down by, well, a lot, you probably all know that, financial institutions keep upgrading NIO. And this is kind of weird because you have seen it in the past couple of months that as soon as NIO stock is about to go up and actually company, for example, ramps up its deliveries and promising to become profitable in Q4, suddenly all of the Wall Street, all of the financial companies are starting to upgrade NIO and giving them huge price targets. But now something else is going on. Now NIO stock is falling and financial companies are still upgrading. So for example, very American named Freedom Capital had upgraded NIO from hold to buy and raised the price target from $6.50 per share to $7 per share. The biggest bear of NIO and it's Barclays. So Barclays throughout the whole year, the whole 2025, had maintained price targets of $3 per share on NIO. Like when NIO was 3.5, it was free, and when NIO was $8 per share, it was free. So even they have upgraded NIO from $3 to $4 per share finally. And I think the reason for these upgrades is pretty simple. The reason is that we are approaching the end of the year, and it's the time of the year when we are all usually zoom out a little bit and kind of take a look at the bigger picture and not at the weekly deliveries or monthly revenues or change in margins or stuff like that. So today I want to do exactly that. I want to compare NIO today to what it was a year ago, and you can see a huge progress that the company did throughout the last 12 months, and to try and extrapolate to the next 12 months to kind of imagine how we will see NIO in December 2026. Hello and welcome to the Market Monkeys channel. My name is Vadim. Today we are talking about NIO in 2025 and how it changed from 2024 and what we expect NIO to be in next year. So the biggest change for me in NIO in 2025 is the consistency. It's not the growth, it's not the delivery, it's not the promises of profitability, nothing like that. The consistency. Finally, we are starting to see the glimpses of consistency with NIO. So for example, the last 4 months, deliveries has been more than 30,000 vehicles per month. I don't think that we have seen a consistency like that in, well, NIO's history. Those of you who know this company for a couple of years now, you know this stuff. You know how the company is delivering 8,000 vehicles 1 month, 25 the next, and 4 months after that. And this year we finally got some kind of trend, some kind of clarity. That's the first thing. The second thing, if we take a look at the delivery numbers and we take a look at the monthly numbers throughout the whole history of NIO, 5 best delivery numbers are in the past 12 months. So we are talking about December 2024 and the last 4 months of 2025. All these 5 months had deliveries of more than 30,000 vehicles, and it clearly shows the trend for growing this number more and more. Now, in order to compare NIO this year to NIO last year, we cannot just take yearly results because, well, we're still in the middle of December and we don't know the results for December. So I have made some kind of adjustments, and I'm going to compare sometimes the 11 month of 2025 to 11 month of 2024, sometimes 3 quarters of 2025 to 3 quarters of 2024. So if we're talking about deliveries, if we're taking month from January to November of this year, the deliveries are about 278,000 vehicles. And if you're interested, this is a growth of 45% over the same period in 2024. So deliveries are up by a lot. And again, this is great. We have seen new models. We have seen Envo, we have seen Firefly, which were introduced this year. Well, Envo last year, but the production ramp up was introduced this year. And it shows NIO growing as the company and NIO actually expanding their production. Now, if we're talking about revenues we can only compare 3 quarters to 3 quarters. If we're talking about revenues of NIO this year, they have increased by 15%. So deliveries 45%, revenues 15%. And you might ask, what the hell? Like, if they are delivering by a lot more, how come the revenues are not that much more? And the answer is in the product mix. Because NIO of 2023, 2024, they were delivering mostly NIO brand. And NIO brand means these expensive NIO cars. And this year in 2025, the mix of the product changed completely. Because right now we have NIO, Onvo, Firefly, and Onvo and Firefly are being delivered much more than NIO. And Onvo and Firefly are much more moderately priced than the NIO brand. So that's why we see the deliveries that grown by 45% and revenue grew by only 15%. If we're looking at other metrics, yes, they are getting better. Revenues grew by 15%, cost of revenue grew by 12%. So we can see some kind of expansion in the gross profit margins, not by a lot, but let's call it a step in the right direction. In 2026, we definitely need to see kind of more expansion of the margin. So we need to see some kind of growth in the revenue and much smaller growth in the cost of revenue. In 2025, probably NIO won't be profitable. So we probably won't achieve profitability in Q4 2025. We'll know for sure in February, I think, when they have the Q4 results. So sorry if I'm bursting your bubble, but we are definitely expecting NIO to become profitable in 2026, at least in one of the quarters. So I don't think the company will be profitable throughout the whole year, but at least in one of the quarters. Those of you who are on this channel a long time and know my predictions about stock dilution for NIO. So for now, those of you who are asking, and I've been asked a couple of times in the comments, I'm not ready to give my prediction yet about whether NIO is going to dilute their stock in 2026. I'll explain why, because currently the balance sheet for NIO, it looks pretty good. They have enough cash and they are burning less and less cash every single quarter. So it's, well, the trend is not obvious. For 2 previous times when we have predicted that they're going to raise money, it was very, very obvious from the numbers. So now let's talk about 2026, about the financials and the deliveries, and let's talk a little bit about what we're predicting for the stock in 2026. So in terms of deliveries for 2026, 2 things which I'm expecting. First of all, I'm expecting deliveries by continue growing, but growing slower than in 2025. So in 2025, we have seen 45% delivery growth. I would expect something between 25 and 35% in next year, but I'm expecting revenue growth to be much closer to the delivery growth than this year, because the mix will not change by that much. They will pretty much deliver the same types of vehicles. So I would expect revenue to grow something between 20 and 30%. And yes, I'm expecting NIO revenue to grow faster next year than it had grown this year. And now for the stock price. So this year the stock price was all over the place. We have seen almost 3 and we have seen almost 8. So stock nearly tripled throughout the year, despite us not seeing any tripling in the delivery, revenue, margins, anything like that. Which basically means that NIO stock, first of all, is volatile, and second of all, NIO is still a trendy stock. So if you remember names like Virgin Galactic, Peloton, Zoom, they were very trendy 3-4 years ago and nobody cares about them right now. NIO is not really like that. NIO is still in the headlines, the stock is very volatile, and the stock is all the time in top 20 most active stocks that being traded daily. So I'm expecting NIO stock to be higher next year than this year, simply because the number would be higher. So if NIO is expanding their revenues by 25% and NIO stock would go back to free, it would be a little bit ridiculous. So next year I'm expecting lows to be higher, but the highs to be higher as well. This year we have reached almost $8 per share. Next year I'm definitely seeing double digits for NIO. In the previous video I have explained why 13 is very much possible for NIO. So yeah, I think 13 is very much possible for NIO, but I definitely want to see double digits throughout next year. If you like this video, if it was informative and interesting for you, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to our channel. Happy holidays for everyone, and we will see you guys in the next video. Take care.